this is the way to go here on D-Lo and KC. Is we're just going early. We're going 5 minutes early with our homegirl Trysta Krick from BetMGM. Trysta, what's good? Do you like this setup a little better?
I do. I don't like tiny Trysta.
Nobody puts Trysta in a box. Come on.
Nobody.
I got a feeling. I never met Trysta. First of all, I was gonna say we're gonna meet at Summer League next year, but I got to tell you where everybody else says it needs to happen sooner than that. I'm gonna get to that in just a second. But I feel like tiny Trysta is Trysta. Like, what are you, like 5'1"?
5'5".
You're taller, way taller than I thought. 5'5".
5'5", yeah.
Oh, okay.
Don't sleep. I can still give you a bucket or two.
Well, you first of all, you can give me a bucket because I don't play no defense, but you can't. Okay, you can't stop me, and that's all that matters at this age. Is how many buckets am I getting? Okay.
Yeah, my in my playing days, I was eating so much food to try to get my lower body solid so I could play defense. We're not doing that anymore, Kenny. No, we are not.
Well, I play in this. Well, I haven't played because I got hurt a couple weeks ago. But when I did play, come on, man, 39 years old. Who am I trying to prove something to by stopping somebody on defense? For what?
Oh my God! I don't think I told you guys the story, but in May of last year, I lived in a building that had a court, and so it was the only court that was really open during lockdown. Mm-hmm. And we were playing 3-on-3, which is where so many pickup injuries happen. And I go to close out. They do that dumb thing where they set screens on the check pass, and then they set that screen right when they're inbounding from half court, and you're like, what are you even doing right now? So I'm like playing defense on the guy with the ball, and he gets the immediate screen. I come around him, he tries to shoot the three. He does shoot the three. I land on. He's wearing like a Jordan 12. And he's probably wearing size 15 Jordan 12. I get the LeBron. It was like maybe 3 weeks after LeBron's injury, his high ankle sprain, same exact injury. I rolled it forward and out. Screamed at the top of my lungs. Could not walk. I was in crutches. I had a boot for multiple months. They were like, I went and saw a PT, and they're like, dude, you are so lucky you don't need surgery. You are this close to having us like tie some things back up in there. So I don't play defense. I'm not closing out anymore. You kidding me?
No. What are we doing?
Wasted my entire summer in a boot. You know how hard it is to wear a dress, a sundress with a walking boot? It's not sexy at all.
Not cute.
No.
It's not cute, Trysta. It's just not cute. See, and the ironic thing about this, like, I don't ever want to find out because I've never had surgery and I don't want to. Like, I don't want to do that. But, people will tell you in cases like that, maybe you'd rather just, like in a roundabout way, you'd rather break it because
that's what they told me.
And fix it. I don't ever want to find out. I'll take my 6 months with rolled ankle. I don't want surgery.
Yeah, they were like, it would have been easier for you. Your recovery time would have been a lot faster if you would have just broken your ankle. And it would have come back, a lot better than when you stretch out that ligament so badly on the front and on the side.
Yeah.
I mean, it starts to do the AD, wiggle, wiggle.
Trysta was like Lonzo Ball out there.
Yes.
Was out for the whole year.
There it is. See, I've rolled ankles pretty bad, but I've always had pretty strong ankles, and that's why I broke my ankle in a similar situation where I came down on a guy's foot, and just waiting, hoping that it doesn't snap. But sure enough, it happens though.
Did you hear the bone break?
Oh, I knew it broke right away. Yeah, whack. I felt it, and I slid right off the court, and I said, I just broke my ankle. Yeah. And then I went to the emergency room. They x-rayed it, and they said, oh, no, it's not broke. And then 3 days later, the swelling went down, and I had a hairline fracture going all the way across my ankle bone. That opened up after the swelling went down. They're like, oh, yeah, we missed that. Yeah.
Modern medicine, man. Can't trust them. No one's your best advocate other than you.
Yeah.
See, well, you know what? Look, both you guys.
So, okay,
let's stop. Let's stop because I'm the type of guy I don't like any of this, right? Like, I don't like broken bones. I don't like horrific injuries. I don't like Dr. Pimple Popper. I don't like botched. I don't like any of that stuff, right? So now, like my mind, I'm just like picturing James with the best. Like, no, we're just done. We're done. We're not doing that. But for real quick, Trysta, real quick. You're listening to ESPN 1320 KFM West Sacramento, KRXQ HD2 Sacramento, an Odyssey station, and driven by Lasher's Elk Grove Dodge. It's Kenny Caraway. It's James Ham. It's Trysta Krick here on D-Lo and KC as we get you through your Friday. Trysta, what would you have on your mind?
First 10 games for y'all. What are you guys thinking in terms of the Kings? And also, now that you've had some time to properly digest the schedule, if you were to say, all right, little tiny Trysta's going to come through Sacktown, what's the game that needs to be targeted?
Well, look here, you're speaking my language right now because this is what I had to tell you. As soon as the schedule dropped, I had multiple people in the chatty house tweeting me saying, yo, Trysta got to be here opening night, right? Trysta's got to be here opening night. Blazers, Kings at the Golden One Center. Trysta Krick is going to make her debut in Sacramento opening night. You hear, right?
Wednesday?
Wednesday.
Let me see if I can pull some strings. It's about a month removed. I haven't had a vacation since 2019, so I am going in September to Canada. You guys are going to love this. This is probably going to be shocking to you. But I'm going to stay at a former monastery, and I'm going to get centered. I'm going to have my phone completely turned off. I'm going to have contemplative breakfasts and walks. They provide me my meals. There's meditations. They're going to help me get centered for the next NBA season. That's what they're going to do. When they asked me, they called me. They're like, "What do you want to accomplish during your stay?" And I was like, "I would like to learn some tools to keep me more centered and at peace that I can bring with me into the outside world."
So, Trysta, are you going to be like that episode of Martin when he joined the cult? You know, and he had one afro and all that. Is that how Trysta's going to be? Trysta's going to come back on D-Lo and KC and say, "Remember, guys, the man who sleeps on the floor cannot fall out of bed."
No, I'm just going to avoid. I'm going to avoid being one of those people who management thinks is a problem. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to figure out how to not allow every little thing to bother me to the point where I'm like, this is some, you know?
No.
I try to avoid any place that calls me and asks me what I'm looking for from my experience there. That's just like, that's on my list of things. Like, if they were to call, I'd be like, "Oh, sorry, I need to cancel. Like, I need to go somewhere else, because if you want to know what I'm going to be doing here, yeah."
So
you're like, I'm looking. What if I was just like, "Listen, I'm looking to just run through this place, like just looking to get laid."
Oh my God.
That's not what I would respond. I'm not sure. Yeah.
No, they were just trying to tell me to bring comfortable shoes. They were like, "Hey, we have walks. Bring comfortable shoes." And I was like, "No, I got my track shoes on. Listen."
That's hilarious. Trysta Krick here from BetMGM here on D-Lo and KC with James Ham with me as well. And I'm looking at the schedule. So here's what I would say, Trysta. We want you here for opening night. That is a Wednesday, though. And typically, you know, if I'm saying, "Yo, come check out a game," I try to get a weekend game because it's you know,
right.
that's where we can get it popping here, you know, on a weekday. We take you down K Street, all this other stuff. And I'm looking at the schedule. Well, the second game of the season is against the Clippers. I'm not going to be here, though. So I can't have Trysta coming to town.
Can't do that.
Right. So that would have been a Saturday.
Where are you going to be?
I'm going to Jamaica for a wedding.
Woo! See?
Yeah.
Speaking my language, you're going to get on a beach, get centered.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I'll be zened out.
That's what we're calling it these days, getting centered.
There it is. So I'm trying to look at the schedule as we speak, and I'm trying to see when a good weekend for Trysta to get here. They do play the Warriors on a Sunday night, so maybe you could hang out on a Saturday, like
like a Friday night.
November 13th.
On a Friday. Come out Friday, hang out Saturday, go Sunday night, maybe leave Monday, be back on Monday. So
here's the one I got one for you, Trysta. This might be a good one. It's a little far out into the schedule, but it's a good one though. They play the Lakers on a Saturday night on January 7th. And Lakers Kings game it's a vibe. It's a vibe. So you might have to circle that on your calendar. January 7th, Saturday night, Kings Lakers. You might have to make your way out to Golden One Center.
I might have to. What's popping in the Christmas time period?
You could catch the Nuggets, the back-to-back against the Nuggets at home. And if you came out for that Lakers game, that's on a Saturday, you could stay through Tuesday where Paolo Banchero and the Orlando Magic drop by Sacramento.
That's her girl, Paolo Banchero. That's her guy, Paolo Banchero.
Yeah. You could see Paolo Banchero versus Keegan Murray.
Yeah, it will either be around the Christmas time slate because I've taken that time off. I might go to the Memphis versus Golden State game, and then maybe I can just cruise through. Maybe do a West Coast basketball.
On that Tuesday, Jokic, the MVP's in town here in Sacramento. So yeah, make it happen, Trysta. Come on.
That's a Tuesday, right? We'll continue as the schedule approaches. As we get closer, we'll solidify some dates.
Yeah, for sure. And Marcus brings up a good point. We know Paolo Banchero. That's your guy, Paolo. You've been on Paolo for a minute. Did you ever hear about the story? I had a dream that Paolo Banchero stuck me up with a gun in my dream. Yeah, he robbed me. He robbed me a gun.
No.
Yeah. I was just dreaming one time and he robbed me at gunpoint. So
yeah. When did you have this dream?
A week or two ago.
Did I tell you guys that I had a dream that LeBron was watching film in a hotel room and he asked me if he was the greatest to ever do it? And I put my hand on his shoulder and I said 6 titles, 6 finals appearances, multiple MVPs. No, you're not.
Wow. That's some tough love. That's some tough love.
And I woke up in that dream this is crazy.
You need to reenact that when he comes through Sacramento. You should just go down and say, "Hey, I had this dream, and I told you, no, you're not that good."
Yeah. The answer was just six titles, 6 finals appearances.
Damn. And Trysta just, like Rob said, Trysta just flaming LeBron all in her REM sleep. She's still flaming LeBron in her REM sleep. It's crazy. It's crazy. But to answer your original question, first 10 games of the season with the Kings, we talked about this earlier in the week, and I want to get the Kings away from looking at a schedule and being like, oh, yeah, we'd be lucky, like a 10-game span, and be like, oh, we'd be lucky if we, went 5-5. But realistically, we're probably going 3-7. Like, stop conceding 6-7 losses, right? Like, have some confidence in yourself. Stand up. All right, be like, we got 10 games. We're trying to go 6-4. And I look at the first 10 games of the season. They played some hard teams or whatever the case may be, but 4 of the first 5 are at home. I could see a 6-4 start. I could see, something where they start out that way. I don't want to say this is going to happen. Like, worst case scenario, maybe a 4-6. I'm not saying like, oh, that is worst case. Like, it could get way worse than that. But have some confidence about yourself, Sacramento. 4-6 all the way to 6-4. I could see that happening.
What do you think, Ham?
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's going to take a long time before the Kings break that mentality of, getting through this stretch of games. Like, this 6-game road trip, I mean, it's brutal, and they're going to have a tough time, especially ending the 6-game road trip with Detroit. But, that should be the one game that you can circle that is, like, really winnable. But after 5 previous games that you don't know how it's going to go. So I do think that, like, when I look at a schedule and I've covered the Kings for so long, that I start looking at 6-game road trips like that and like, man, 1-5, 2-4, like a miracle happens, you go 3-3. And I think that's what Kenny's trying to get away from, is that mentality. But I mean, I think it's just being realistic sometimes.
What do you think, all the time that you've been covering, watching basketball on the ground, how important is that road trip for a team's psyche in terms of, if they get off to a rough start on that road trip, does that, in your opinion, is that meaningful for the season in terms of the vibes?
Well, yeah, as someone who's covered the Kings the whole time, yeah. Like you get your back broken in one of those road trips, and it's tough to recover. I look at the rest of December after that specific road trip, and there are games that they can, if they got their head on right, they can, if they go 2-4 on the road trip, they can go 5-2 on the homestand or whatever, coming right out of that, or 5-2 over the next 7. But that's just not the way it usually works. So as someone who's covered this team forever, there are those letting go of the rope moments, and you're hoping that that's not what you see this time around, that, you've changed out enough players, you've changed out the coach, you've changed out the whole staff. Your trainers are different, your medical staff everyone is different. So maybe there's that moment where, okay, we had a bad stretch, let's just keep going. And this team just snaps right out of it. But that's just not what I've seen. It's a perpetual cycle of the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
We saw Pelicans, they looked horrible, and like that shows they might be the worst team in all of the NBA last year at one point.
They started 1-13, didn't they?
Yeah, 1-13.
Yeah, that's crazy that they made the playoff. 1-2 games in the first round on top of that after starting 1-13. I haven't had these things committed to memory, but I can't remember a situation like that. You start 1-13, get into the playoffs, win a couple of games. That's nuts.
Yeah. I think that shows that what the Kings' mentality could be is resiliency, right? Because the Pelicans have been sort of up and down, but the coaching staff with Willie Green, who's had his feet planted in some really good organizations, with the Warriors, with the Suns, like you take that and you use that momentum. You hope Mike Brown can do that too, and say like, be like Eric Thomas, like compete every night.
Eric, shout out Eric Thomas. Big guy. That's good knowledge there, right? You, Trysta. Trysta, there's so much more I want to talk about. We've got a radio show. One of these days, Trysta, maybe when you come and watch the Kings play, either on opening night or during Christmas, you just come and do the whole show. Like, you just rock with us the whole time. So we're going to make that happen. Next week, get ready. The week 0 in college football. Now, we don't ever really talk about betting, even though you're on BetMGM tonight. But it's my time of year. When specifically college football come around, that's when I start making that money. I start making it rain on them. So I got to get these picks ready, Trysta.
First 6 weeks of the college football season are ripe with wins. After that, Vegas gets super sharp. So we'll do that. Also, I wanted to make sure that I came on a little earlier, so I made sure Kyle wasn't waiting in the waiting room making coffee.
That's my year to go, man. Trysta Krick, BetMGM tonight. Always a great time every Friday when she's on here. Love talking.